MMA has stepped up, it's changed. The evolution of the sport has really taken over. We're seeing the fastest growing sport in history in the United States. You look at baseball, you look at football, hundreds of years in this sport to grow. MMA, I mean, we're looking at 20 plus years and it's taken over. Things have happened. A friend of mine, Brian Moore, started the Legends, and it's come so far in such a short amount of time. It's an honor for me to have my friend on, Brian. Brian, how you doing, buddy?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm shocked, really. I'll be honest with you. I was just sitting back thinking about just a few years ago when we were talking about your concept and your ideas and what you wanted to do for the legends of the sport that really weren't being represented. And look where we're at today.
Yeah, it's really come a long way in the last 3 years. It kind of just started off as a concept, and it's amazing what the fans have helped us do to this point. We've managed to get the Legends out to some great events, help a lot of people along the way. Legends of the Cage is growing faster than I can keep up with it, and it's the simple fact of the fan love is what keeps us growing on a daily basis.
It is, and you've done something that's really unique, Brian, and that is you have introduced the legends, the guys that made this sport, to the new fans. That a lot of them think the sport started in 2003 with the Ultimate Fighter show. And that's not the case. And when you're representing guys like Gary Goodrich, come on, Gary Goodrich, right?
Yeah.
That has to be. What is that like for you, though, Brian? Because, it has to be that moment of the surreal feeling when all of a sudden you're standing there shaking hands with this man that you watched destroy someone, in the cage.
Yeah, actually, Gary was the first fight I ever watched. He was the first fighter I ever hooked up with. It's just crazy how things work. I was never one to believe in fate, but this thing has just come together in a way that it's undeniable. The more we do, the more we help these guys, the more love we get from the fans. It's a monster.
It is, and listen, it's not only are you bringing, and this is what I really respect about what you're doing, Brian, because what people don't realize is you're a regular guy just like me. You're a fan of the sport. You're just someone that does it. You make it happen. You came up with an idea sitting at home with your wife, and you brought it to where it's at today. That is incredible, but what makes it even better is the fans. I go back to that every time because you're having such an impact on the fans. But also, you're really helping out with a lot of charities, and you're doing some great things with charities. And I don't know that people understand that. This isn't something that, you're not lining your pockets. This is 100% giving. And speak about some of the things you've been able to do.
Yeah, 2016 was a big year. We were able to go out and do the Do Good Things tour in 2016 with Gary Goodrich. We went to seen a lot of kids, juvenile detention centers.
Yeah.
We went to Children's Hospital, a Ronald McDonald House in Columbus, the world's largest. We were able to do a lot of good things, thanks to our sponsors at Realm of Caring, Pride Resurrection. And 2017 is not going to be any different. We've already set up our first Do Good Things tour. It's going to be at the end of February, March. Details are coming out. We've partnered up with Pride Resurrection again to get the toys and gather the stuff for the kids. And we're working with a friend of ours from Columbus who has a niece right now. She's suffering from leukemia. Everything's on our Facebook and our Twitter. Her name's Alyssa Elkins. She's 16. She's from Columbus. And she had a list of things that she wanted to do. And when we heard the story, Legends of the Cage thought we had to do our part. And we put it out on the website today. We put it out on the Facebook pages. We've already got responses from fans. it's just every time we're able to help someone, it just makes the experience of doing this that much greater. You know, I mean, meeting the fighters is great, but changing lives is just that much more important.
Well, it becomes something that takes on a life of its own, because what you've done is you've harnessed, you know, the sport and incredible athletes, personalities, talents, legends, and you've been able to educate the fans, bring the fans close to these fighters, and then help the people that really do need the help. And listen, there's so many great causes, and there's so many people out there that need help, that it really speaks a lot to what you're doing, Brian, because a lot of people will just stay away because they feel like if they help one cause, then they're going to have to help all of them, so they just stay out of it. You've stood up. You have really manned up on this, and I've got to say, from my own personal, you know, experience, what you're doing is impressive. And hats off to you for what you're doing, because it is making a difference. And who could have ever have thought 3 years ago, when we were speaking, that we would be right here, right now, talking about this?
Well, and that's what makes this all possible is great guys like yourself, and being able to work with people in the industry that you can trust and just love the sport. You know, they're in it for the right reasons. They just want to be a part of this great sport of MMA, you know. And by us working with great people like yourselves, we've managed to push this a long way. And hopefully in 2017, you know, we got some really big announcements coming up. We're going to be bringing the legends back on the forefront. You know, the fans are going to be able to reconnect with all the fighters they love. You know, I'll be announcing it here in just a minute on your show. You know, it's some great stuff coming up in 2017. We're super excited at Legends of the Cage.
Well, it is. I mean, just as a fan of the sport, it's exciting watching it develop, just the sport alone. I mean, it really has grown. And like I said earlier, this is the fastest growing sport that I know I've ever seen. I can't imagine anything that someone could throw at me and say, well, tennis was this fast or soccer was this fast. MMA has taken over. It's a culture. It's become kind of like maybe music or rock and roll or hip hop, where it's a culture thing. I mean, you see kids now that are growing up and they do look at these fighters as role models, and they do understand this isn't just a barbaric sport. These are quality human beings that are competing in a sport that they love, and you have to enjoy that. For me, I think it's great, and one of the best examples was Gary Goodrich. And when you brought Gary out the way that you did, and Gary was able to connect with the fans, that meant a lot to me, because Gary was someone that I definitely left an impression on me with those crazy elbows and that finish he had. But you know what? It's one thing to say it, it's another thing to do it and to make it happen. And that's what you've done, man. Brian, you have really done a hell of a job. It's impressive. You know, I love to be a part of it. And so for me, it's fun. And I want to ask you, I'm going to divert a little bit, because we just had a fight last night, right? And that was on Bellator. And Bellator, look what Bellator has done. Bellator has kind of pulled the mantle from the UFC slowly, but they're slowly taking it. And you're seeing incredible fights, and you're seeing the biggest stars. And with Tito Ortiz, I got to say, I was so impressed the way he showed up in shape at his age and just dominated Chael Sonnen. And Chael, hey, look, man, don't dislike me, Chael, but the strongest muscle in your body was your jaw. I believe that Tito choked that to the point of tap. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. When Tito didn't let go, I mean, as a fight fan, as I'm watching it.
Yep.
When Tito didn't let go, I knew. I mean, it was the comment, you know. And to me, that's what makes this sport great. Is there's grudges, you know. I mean, this isn't.
It's real.
It's real. It's in your face, gritty, real.
Yep.
So, to me, MMA has got to be the best sport in the world.
Oh man, beyond a doubt. And you know, with Tito holding a little bit, that really just emphasized the fact that it was real. There were emotions in this fight. For Tito, listen, I know he's retired before, and this is just the way the sport is. If you're a fighter, it's really hard to walk away when you feel you can still compete. And when you got a guy like Chael Sonnen running his jaws at you like that, I think Tito must be the happiest guy in the world right now to have made him submit by a pain choke on the jaw that runs all the bullshit. And that's exactly what happened, last night. So I was really happy with that, to be honest with you. But, Brian, what is going on now? Dan Severn has got this book out. There's all this stuff going with Dan, all the stuff that's happening with the legends. Now you've got you've got a museum that's coming out. Am I right with that?
Yeah, well, we're in process right now of actually putting it together. Legends of the Cage wants to bring the history of the sport. We want to show the fans, where it really came from, the Vale Tudo days, the IVC days. Of course, your UFC, Bellators, Invicta are all going to be represented, but we want the fans to know the true history of MMA, the true history of the pieces, and we're working hard to bring that to you. 2017, there's going to be some big announcements coming out. We're currently set to open the biggest museum in the world, and we're hoping that the fans will come out, turn out. It's going to be a great experience, a place for these legends to come, give seminars, reconnect with the fans. Legends of the Cage is coming strong this year. Just watch out for us.
Well, is there Brian, for the fans that are out there that want to help, they want to be a part of it, listen, let's be honest, it takes money to do this. This is not free. This comes out of your pocket, out of my pocket. We do this out of our passion for the sport, respect for these fighters. Is there a place that the fans can go to help, to contribute, to donate, to do anything like that?
They can go to legendsofthecage.com. We have everything set up there where they can go on. They can check out our legends. They can connect with them. We have a lot of different things on the site just to keep fight fans, talking about the history of the sport. We got some really big stuff that's coming out. We'll have details on the website. We've got the movie coming out. We've been working on a TV show. So there's a lot of things that fight fans don't see behind the scenes that over the next few months we're going to be coming full speed ahead. That's
right. And, listen, Brian, I was told that the director of this movie that's coming out was really hell-bent on Jack Nicholson, but he wasn't available, so he was going to go for Dan Cox as the second choice. I don't know if it's true, but hey,
I'll definitely see what I can do.
I'm throwing my name in the ring, right? I'm going to go for it.
Well, while we're talking about the movie, I might as well put it out there. Legends of the Cage is partnered up with New Vision Films. We're going to be bringing a movie in 2017 called No Way Out. It's going to be the biggest MMA movie in the world. We're doing an open casting call. Right now on Dan Cox's show, we'd like to reach out to the best fighters in the world. Reach out to us at legendsofthecage.com. Send me all your highlight videos. We're going to be doing casting soon. We want to hear from every fighter out there. If you want to be in this movie, it's going to be huge. We're bringing in the biggest, best names. We've got some great stunt coordinators. New Vision Films is going to revolutionize the MMA movie industry.
Yep, and it's about the passion. It's about reality, and that's what's going to be different about this movie. Is this is going to be the closest to the reality of an MMA fighter, to the story of the fighter that you're going to see, and that's what's really exciting about it. Besides the fact that I might be a guy in there that's doing commentating. So other than that, but honestly, Brian, seriously, that is an amazing thing when you look at where you've come from, where you're at now, how you've affected fighters' lives, fans' lives, and we're just getting started. I get really excited, honestly, talking about it because I am a fan. And so I look at this and I just think, gosh, could it get any better? And it can. That's what that's what 2017 is going to be about. I think there's been some barriers broken. You know, we're looking at rule changes in MMA. We're looking at, you know, the way the fans are being involved, and everything about the sport is changing because we have to grow as the sport grows. And as I said, this is the fastest growing sport in the world. So the rules have to catch up, the fans have to catch up, and we count on people like yourself that are going to continually educate the new fans and the old fans about the legends, the people that really contributed to make this possible, and then to connect the fans and the fighters, because without either one, we have nothing. There is no sport.
Yeah, that's the thing, you know, like talking to Dan Severn, the Beast. You know, these guys are still have a passion for this sport. Oh, yeah. You know, he recently just started his own organization, Danger Zone MMA. You know, they're going to be releasing beast mode rules. You know, it's going to be a whole different look at the sport. You know, there's not going to be the lay and pray option anymore in his organization. You know, so there's so many things to look forward to. You know, follow Dan the Beast Severin. The man's a genius. This sport's gonna appreciate everything he done when Legends of the Cage brings it to the forefront.
Yeah, Dan has definitely done a lot for the sport, and I know that what he's got coming is pretty exciting as well. You know, Gary's done a hell of a job, but Legends of the Cage has really stepped it up. As we spoke earlier, you've got the movie that you're working on. You're helping so many people in need, which is very inspiring to me, Brian. As you know, that is a hard thing to do because you want to help everybody. It's just not possible. And you're working tirelessly, my friend.
Yeah, I mean, it's a process, you know. We find ourselves stepping in situations sometimes where we can't help ourselves but want to help. And these kids and stuff that we've helped, it makes such a huge difference to them. They're still reaching out and thanking us, you know. So to us, everything that we do is worth it. And we appreciate all the help from Pride, Resurrection, and all the great companies that are stepping up to help push it over the top.
You know, I guess I would, before we end, I would just go back to our initial meeting and speaking about what I wanted to do, hearing your idea, which, if you remember, I loved it. It was an idea that came from passion, and it was needed. And again, you know, you made it happen. So you've got to be proud of what you've been able to achieve and how many people you've been able to help, including the legends of the sport. And I think things are only going to grow, man. They're just taking off so fast. And it's like I had said on social media, if you blink, you're going to miss something.
Yeah, we've managed to work with the family. We reached out to the MMA fans. It's been great. Within 24 hours, half of her list had been filled, you know, and we're working on the other half. I mean, her name's Alyssa Elkins. Like you said, we talked about her earlier. She's a sweet kid, and her uncle reached out to Legends of the Cage. We've worked together for a while now, you know, and it's the least we can do. You know, to try to give back, put the word out, let the fans know that this little girl's in need, you know, and we just hope that through us helping, she can live out the dreams that she had.
That's fantastic what you're doing, Brian. It really is. So, hey, everybody, support Legends of the Cage. So for Modern Pugilist Entertainment, for Fight TV, for Runner Up Enterprises, and for my good friend Brian Moore and Legends of the Cage, I'm Dan Cox. We will see you next time.